Earth gang. Gang, 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 gang. Earth gang. Gang, 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 gang.
I don't want to sell my hex. What's going on, everybody? It's your host, the Crypto Wonder. Hope you're doing well. As always, let's get right into it. Recently, I just finished listening to a stream by the one and only Wales Only, and he was emphasizing this particular word, this operative term that I'm sort of like going to parse through and talk about, among other things, in this particular episode with regards to DeFi and how people are behaving within the DeFi space, right? Pretending. You know, when you were a child and you heard the word pretend, the first thing for me that came to my mind was, make believe, right? Become something that you aren't, right? Do something outside of who you are, right? Be an act, create an act, perform outside of your natural being. Not really perform outside of natural being, just basically displaying through certain characteristics and actions something that is not entirely you. You're in character, right? Of another role, pretending. And it's not only about action, but it's also a mindset, right? Pretending. You find out a lot in DeFi, you find that a lot in this community that has been reduced to confusion. People allow themselves to be reduced to disillusionment. No one's been forced to do anything, which is why I find it so bizarre why people choose to become disenfranchised, in a sense where they're disillusioned and they are now enraged. And once again, going inward, right? You're fighting among yourselves. No one forced anyone to do anything. You know, it's amazing how some of the times in my years of blogging, I would hear certain thoughts echoed every now and then, right? And most recently, I've heard something that I might have been the only person in the community talking about, and I've heard it uttered every now and then by a particular streamer who, hey, shout out. But I must have been the only person really who've made references to Trevon James and how early he was in Hex, and how early he was streaming with Richard. And just recently I heard that again. And it was as if that was perhaps, or maybe, I'm not sure. I'm not saying the person was pretending anything. But I just find it interesting that people do things, and it I don't know if it was because they were prompted by a thought that I might have said. They might not have heard anything. It could just be me being crazy. You know, I'm kind of old, talking into a device, and you're just as crazy listening to me. So, could be nothing. Go figure. So yeah. One thing that I'm noticing now, well, before I begin something else, I'm gonna end my thought, not with so yeah. I mean, yeah. The weird thing about it though is like people always want to put a negative spin on things, and when Trayvon was around in the beginning, sure, he was one of the most popular people in the crypto space for reasons maybe not so savory, not the best reasons, right? And he was streaming with Richard. Many Hexicans weren't in the beginning streaming with Richard before Trayvon. I mean, yeah, you know, it's what it was, and perhaps Richard was giving Trayvon a chance to maybe improve his reputation at the time because of the whole Big Connect debacle. Who knows? Trayvon doesn't care for the community like that anymore. Doesn't really care to engage for his own personal reasons. He's been open about it over the years, and the Hexican community have sort of like shunned him in a way ever since he came out with his own project, aligning his projects with Hex. I don't know the particulars of how those things unfolded, but there was some type of backlash. It is what it is. There's been backlash, and will continue to be backlash. I'm not saying with him, but with others. It's just like another gentleman that I know who says this all the time: par for the course. It's par for the course. What I find interesting, because this is something that I'm going to say, and I wonder if it's going to come up again. And I just said it recently, and I wonder if it's going to come up again. A couple people I've seen start to, but I want to see if it's going to come up again on stream. This whole notion of people not supporting, or people meaning people who are in Hex not supporting other people who are in Hex who shill other coins and all this extra and all this extra and all that extra. I don't see what's the big deal. I didn't get into any of these crypto things to create a ring holding hands talking about, let us pray for the dove to fly over our heads and bring love. I didn't do that. I didn't get into this for all that. Not at all. So people are taking things super personal or extra sensitive to levels where it just doesn't, it's astounding. I don't think people understand why they're here anymore. I don't think people understand why. I mentioned this before. I have a small channel, so those who listen heard me say 2 years ago that in order to experience these maximum gains that we dream about, that have come and gone in crypto, you have to go through the maximum pain. You just have to, and allow yourself to be disciplined enough to experience it, to last long enough to be a part of these market cycles, to participate in these market cycles. irrespective of whatever anyone feels or thinks or believes or whatever. I don't see how that's not relevant today. Look at now. Look at what's going on now. Like, it's crazy. You know, people, and it's weird because I guess some people, they don't mean, you know, sometimes people don't mean any harm. It just turns out that whatever they do ends up harming people. You know, it's weird. It's weird that way. Life, right? Life is just bizarre in that sense sometimes. Where you think about something, you create an idea, you think you have something you're working with and that's good, and then you present it to the world, and it does not turn out to be desirable at all. Doesn't work out. You know, I don't think the majority of people in crypto want to really rug everybody or hurt everyone. You know, you do have bad apples. You have bad apples because those apples exist so that you can understand the good apples or everything else outside the bad. We recognize and respect the power of the bad apples, though. Respect the power of these scammers, these nefarious criminal entities. Respect it, or else you will disrespect yourself and become a victim. It's not hard. It is not hard. What I'm also discovering now is just this everyone, and I say that out of jest in a sense. You know, I don't generalize. I don't know everyone to say anything about everyone in totality, but many people I'm seeing now talk about like they want to outdo each other in describing how long they've been in crypto, how long they've been in this market, how long you've been in this market since Satoshi wrote the first letter in the white paper. You've been in this market since Occupied Wall Street. You've been in this market since 2006 with the subprime banking loans. You've been in this market since Lehman Brothers was it. I mean, what do you... It's embarrassing. Like, y'all don't see what the viewers may see. Or maybe perhaps what I see. Because when I talk about how long I've been in this market, I don't really beat my chest in a sense, because many of the things that I've learned that are good are also compared to many of the things that are bad. And when I talk about history and make references, it's to help bring awareness about the traps and what has happened before in the past that don't really glorify anything good, right? Oh, you heard about Bitcoin when it was 10 zeros and a 1? When? Back in 1901? And you did nothing? That is not you complimenting yourself. You're exposing your maximum loss. You're exposing, right, the mistake that you made. You're exposing how ignorant you are. And if that's what you're doing, then albeit, hey, shout out to you. But these people now in this community are trying to like, oh, I've been in crypto since this, since that. It doesn't matter. Let go of your foolish egos. Let go of that nonsensical pride, because that's not helping anybody's chart on this side of the pond go up. Talking about how long you've been in crypto and how often and what type of mistakes you've made by missing on Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's not a win. That's you celebrating your loss and praising yourself for being a dumbass. Why? Why? What is the point? Because I tell you, right? Just like this whole thing with crypto was created and we were fortunate enough to see it unfold in this lifetime, in our lifetime. I mean, the world is amazing. Life is amazing. I'm not going to be surprised if something else gets introduced to the world that's just as groundbreaking. Is that going to be something that I'm going to reduce or dismiss? Maybe, maybe not. But the value cannot be ignored. Potentially. If something else comes out that is just as revolutionary, just as groundbreaking, may not even have to deal with anything financial related or anything of the sort. It could be something else. Could be related to health. Could be related to whatever. Medicine. Whatever. I'm not going to dismiss it because, or I might, but it doesn't take anything away for the novelty, the originality, the purity of what it is, and the universal power that it has inherently within itself to effect real change. It has nothing to do with a person's, ability to say they were the first to do this or the first to do that, because after a while, that's just immaterial. No one cares about how many times you were somewhere first, or you did this and you older than whoever and you've been here longer than that. Doesn't even matter. People have literally lost their sense of self. They've lost their sense of purpose. They've lost their sense of self-worth and meaning. This is why you find nothing but absolute confusion right now with this crypto thing. You won't find me highlighting anybody's comments disparaging me and posting it up on Twitter like that's something to do. What am I doing that for? For what? What type of intention am I seeking that way? Like, that is just morbid. That's just twisted to me, It's twisted. If it's something that's a learning, a teaching opportunity, that's different. You have grown adults trying to find clever ways to disrespect each other. That's what you're doing with your precious time. That's what you're doing with time that you can't reclaim. You wake up today and decided, okay, you're going to find a way to insult someone. You're going to concentrate. You're going to think about it and then act on it. To what end? To produce what? What are you going to achieve by doing that? This is what's going on in this space. This is the energy that is riddled throughout the whole thing right now. And anything positive that you bring is helpful, but is being drowned out with sheer ignorance, immaturity, and childishness. And it is sad. But like a wise person I know has said before many times, it's par for the course. And this is a wise person who I haven't spoken to in a while. A good while. Shout out. People are going to look back. They're going to look back at these times and they're going to say to themselves, wow, what position that I've placed myself in to take maximum advantage of what was in front of you, right? If you stick through, right, you stick around, you stay around, you participate, you remain focused, unwavered, you're gonna see the differences throughout these cycles. You're gonna see the pros, you're gonna see the cons, you're gonna see the ebbs, you're gonna see the flows, you're gonna see the different phases of things. And you're going to see what works for you. And you're going to dismiss what doesn't work for you. Why? Because you were able to respect yourself enough to stick around and not get caught up in the web of treachery, distractions, deceit, lies, and drama that yields nothing healthy for you. That's not what's yielding you rewards every day at 00 UTC globally. Drama, social media antics, pettiness, and infighting is not what's giving you rewards if you lock up the crypto so that it can produce yield for you on your behalf, 00 UTC, with no human oversight. Or human involvement. You know, it comes a time where you have to make personal decisions for yourself and be good with the decisions you make. 100%. I mentioned before already that the community attacked the crap out of Joker. Hegg's Joker at the time. They attacked the crap out of him for introducing Saitama V3 and talking about on Twitter how he made $150 with that coin. In the middle of spring or the beginning of spring 2022, pulsechain wasn't even active then. That was just anticipation waiting. And he was vilified, ousted, humiliated, disrespected, all kinds of stuff. Again, I'm not making excuses for him, not for who he is and what he's done, not at all. But I find it interesting because even the founder talked about him in interviews. Even the founder, expresses displeasure with what Joker did. Right? Certain people now who insulted Joker are not basically talking about other coins outside of Hex, pulsechain, and pulsex. And proud and beating their chests. The only difference is now Richard is not as vocal. And I'm trying to see, why is it bad for that to be noticed or even pointed out? Because there's a contradiction there. It's like, right? It's confusing. That's the confusing energy that I'm saying that people can do without, in a sense, because everyone is free to do what they want. But the same smoke that you gave Joker, you should, welcome the same smoke back if you really understand the big picture and what you're doing. And be okay with it and be mature enough to take it and move forward and move on and just, at the bottom line, the end of the day, just say, who cares? Who cares? But for people who just don't know any better, who just come around, they just got into crypto, they don't know what you know, right? They don't know what they don't know. They don't understand the levels of risks like people who have already been in this space do. This is the part where it gets serious. But then we use the lifeline, the so-called lifeline of not financial advice. No one forced you to put any money into these things, right? Do your own research. You shouldn't have put more money than you could afford to lose. We pull those cards out to try to shield you from any type of repercussions. This is why new people who are coming into crypto have to learn. Is the learning curve is steep. It's huge within the space. Don't take anything lightly, right? Treat your money very serious. Treat your time very serious. Treat your research very serious, and understand, connect the dots. If these things don't make sense, leave it alone, because it's all risky. And human beings naturally want to align with other human beings. This is what we do by way of nature. Be careful who you align and attach yourselves to, and who you listen to, and information you absorb and share and want to just, right, accept and digest, because not all information is the right information. It's just not. And we've seen the devastating results and the impact that bad information, right, receiving bad information, and the consequences of receiving bad information has done to many people in crypto. And you don't want to be that statistic. You don't want to have that type of story. And if you do, you want to minimize those levels of stories. There are many people in the community who speak one way, and behind the scenes, there's somebody else. Be careful. Lead yourselves. Learn what this is all about. In truth, really. Learn what this is all about. There's always going to be new things, shiny opportunities, money quick, do this, do that, and this project, that project, this coin, that token, all this. This is what it is over here. It's par for the course, right? But again, not everything is good for you. Not every meal that's available is proper for you to ingest or digest. And health is wealth in my book. Without your health, it doesn't matter how much money you have. You all the way out of luck if your health is poor and you got the biggest bag in your life. Because hopefully you never get to that point. But, you know, no amount of money could replace or pay enough to have health and reclaim people that we care about dearly to come back, right? There's certain things we have to deal with. But don't embrace stupidity. Don't encourage ignorance, right? And when you speak about things, let it be real. Let it be pure to you and who you are. And enough of the pretending, because when you're pretending, the only person, right, that you're really fooling when it's all said and done is the person in the mirror. And with that, good people, I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.